You get out of jail after you just beat a racketeering charge. You're about to come home feeling like the realest nigga out there. Feeling like the realest man alive. And right before your head relaxes on the headrest, you get a ping alerting you just got exposed as a snitch, a pillow talker, and a hater. And there's obviously receipts to prove it, to back it up. That's the composition of this brew that got us talking about. That's the composition of the brew that got Young Thug sitting at this interview. Thing is, a lot of the things he says, I understand. But we need to remember one thing. Every snitch wants to be understood. The reason I would even still take such a stance with him is because amidst all that, understandably, right? But amidst it all, he finds himself trying to delegate who's telling, who's not telling, who's a real nigga, who's not, who can and who can't. You know what I mean? So now, if you go with his perspective, you would have to rewrite the actual laws of the streets that I've always known about. The ones I never abided to. But I've seen motherfuckers like this a lot of times glorify it, hold it up high. So if you agree with his perspective, then we're having to rewrite the laws of the streets. So you see, he differentiates what Gunner did versus what his brother did, taking a plea agreement, stating his brother at least confided in him. Took him a while to cave in. He still caved in, understandably. But he's understandably in the sense we understand where Thug is coming from, but he still caved in. He says anybody who agreed that YSL was a gang did a lot more damage to the case. You guys all took a plea agreement. All of you took a plea agreement. He talked about two of his friends, one named Yak, the other one named Dud. And I think Yak ratted on Dud and was playing possum the whole time, acting like he didn't know what he had done. He differentiates what he did as he considers what he did not snitching because he didn't incriminate anybody. I've always known the laws of the streets to me because I've heard people, I've paid attention to them when they spoke. I've paid close attention when they spoke and said any talking to the police other than asking for your lawyer. I mean, you heard Cameron in an interview. They asked him if you're, what did they say? They said if, I mean, listen, they asked Lil Bibby. They said if you, if your mother got shot, would you tell the police? He said, nah. Ask Cameron, if a serial killer lived next door, would you tell the police? He says, nah. So what are you doing? He says, oh, I'm only talking about things that were in the news. Yeah, that's to your discretion. Plus, you gave your phone number. You say you were flirting. He says he was flirting. Yeah, that's to your discretion, as in what you did with the number. That's to your discretion. But everybody who sits in the interrogation rooms and talks wants to be understood. And then he mentions people should put themselves in other people's shoes. It's funny you say that, because I remember when 6ix9ine was going through a situation, nobody wanted to put themselves in his shoes. Beat up by the gang, robbed by the gang, while they're planning on doing much more to you because you have the money. And yet, when faced with a 40-year sentence, or tell on these fools and take your $10 million record deal, the world wanted him to hold it down, as in not tell and take the 40-year sentence, just so he could get respect in the streets. Get the fuck out of here. So now this dude wants to be understood. Yeah, I get it. as in the podcast, I reminded him that, since you got out of jail, you haven't really been humble. He responded with the need to build new associations. Bank wanted to know exactly how he felt about Gunna. He feels betrayed. Feels like he did his best for him, made him rich, reunited him with his family, bought his mother a house, and Gunna hasn't lifted a finger since he got out of jail. Not visited his mother, nothing. Not sent $1, nothing. I'd feel the kind of way too. Made you rich, you can't even do nothing? Nothing? Not to mention, it doesn't make anything easier the fact that Gunna has actually soared, right? He's been doing pretty good or well for himself. But he is very disappointed, very disappointed that Gunna got to leave, or at least accepted the deal as fast as he did. Because, mind you, the whole crew, or everyone is supposedly saying, we're not a gang, because that's what the case is about. And for you to accept a plea real fast that you are, put more damage. He kept emphasizing that. Very surprised and sad that a lot of his friends took very compromising deals, as in deals that compromised him a lot. Brought him to tears, actually. But that's why you do not do crime, ladies and gentlemen, because it puts you in compromising places. He actually had a friend of his that he gave some respect to. I think his name is Monk Tunk. They got these funny names. He said dude was solid, I guess did everything he would have expected a solid nigga to do. But guess what? Sometimes being solid is too expensive. Dude got a life sentence. Now, I'm not sure about the details, but it seemed like the one person he gave respect to got a life sentence. Now, I got to zoom into that case a little more. Because while you're over here talking about people going against the grain, some didn't go against the grain and are serving a life sentence. Well, I got to dig more. I'm not sure about the details there. Again, he's still trying to determine what a snitch is versus what a snitch is not, and who's gangster and who's not. Like, after those kind of tapes, bro, I think you state your claim, but who am I to say? I mean, what do you guys think? Does he get a pass?